Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Как говорится,
Good morning,
те,
dear
кто
colleagues.
опаздывает, могут посмотреть трансляции на эти
Those
дни
who
на
are
принципе
coming
блоге. У нас,
late,
наверное,
they will be
самый
able to
основной
see our
такой
work
момент, то,
in
что
the
мы в
live
первый день
streaming.
форума, первым
So on the first day of our forum, the first
открываем
event, we are
тему,
opening with a
за
very
которую я
interesting
лично
topic, and
считаю
I see
будущее.
that there is future
Я
behind this.
представлю, у нас
Let
состав
me
сегодня без привлечения
introduce
звездный,
our
тех
stellar
людей, которые находятся в
presidium.
пленаре. И я буду
And
представлять
I'm
по
going
мере
to
того, как будет
I'm
переходить
going to present
выступление.
them
Но выступление я все-таки хотел бы
as
сделать
they
такую некую смесь,
as
скажем
they
так,
start
дискуссии
speaking.
и
I want to make
презентации.
our
Поясню
today's
почему.
work a mixture of
Тема, которую мы
presentations and
поднимаем, можно
discussions
мою
because
презентацию?
our topic today,
Она будет
and
буквально там
I want
3-4
to call
слайда
my presentation.
для того, чтобы мы могли тему. Да, это я.
Right.
Дальше, пожалуйста. Или я сам листаю.
My name is Azad Gazizov.
Мы разберемся.
I'm the first VP.
Вот. Значит, наша тема сегодня экспертный блогинг. Ну, видите, даже
Of the
термин
National Public
настолько
Organization
кажется вроде бы
of Small and Medium
знакомым,
Businesses, Opora
но
Russia.
он еще не
Our
успев, как
topic
говорится, как следует
today
оформиться, он
is
уже
expert
начал являться
blogging.
замыленным. Почему буква Г перечеркнута?
Why
Есть
am I
понимание,
crossing
да?
out the second
Потому что
G
в
letter
английской
in
версии
the Russian
блогинг
language?
идет
Because
вообще-то с двумя.
in the English
Но
language the word blogging is
у нас
spelled
оно
with two
идет и так,
G's.
и так, и
In
когда
Russian
мы
there
регистрировали
are
домен,
many
на всякий случай нам
versions.
пришлось
So
зарегистрировать 6 доменов
when we
в разных интерпретациях.
were
Понимаете,
registering
что
the domain name, we
люди до
registered
сих пор не
6 different
понимают. И
variations
наша
because
задача
people do not
уважаемых
have
экспертов как
a
раз-таки
clear
в этом
understanding as to how
понятии
this should be done.
разобраться.
So
Значит, почему экспертный
our
блогинг?
job is to help people understand what's what.
Так.
So why
Ребят,
expert
давайте на мне потренируемся, чтобы я
blogging?
потом спикерам мог давать. То есть я нажимаю.
So how do I point the pointy thing?
Денис, без инфарктов. Давай, решаем. Давайте. Модератор — это подопытный кролик.
Moderator is like your test animal. It's better to do everything on a moderator.
Расстояние, что ли?
So does it depend on the
О, все
distance?
пошло.
Oh.
Значит, немножко коротко о себе.
Okay, a couple
Я
of things
первый
about myself. I'm the
вице-президент
first
Opora России,
VP
занимаюсь
of
региональным
Opora
развитием и
Russia,
в том
and I
числе
deal with
информационной
regional development and the
составляющей
informational component
организации,
of
ну
this
и,
organization.
скажем так, выращиванием
I
экспертов в различных
also
областях.
train experts in different spheres. I am quite experienced. I've been working in this sphere for over 20 years.
Официально
I
сертифицированные курсы повышения квалификации,
have my
единственные в
own
стране по
courses at
повышению,
RENIPA,
по подготовке
and
специалистов по
I train
формированию
specialists in
сообществ. И тема экспертного
forming
блогинга,
communities.
она родилась как
The
раз
topic
в
of expert
результате
blogging was
практических
born
изысканий. Я вам
out
покажу
of my
буквально
practical
2
research
слайда,
and practical
и
work.
потом
Allow
мы
me to
уже
show you a
перейдем к
couple of
дискуссии.
slides,
Это
after which we will
исследование
go
ФОМа,
to
Фонда
our
общественного мнения. Если вы
discussion.
посмотрите,
First of them
значит,
is
из каких
the
источников
research
узнаете
done by
новости,
Foundation
нужно,
for
значит,
Public
здесь смотреть
Surveys.
сначала начало, это 2010 год. И
It started in the year
2010,
2010,
Значит,
and let me give you a comparison of data between 2010 and 2023. So TV lost its positions from 97 to 60%. Forums, blogs, websites, and news agencies on the internet.
У них все блогинг, по сути, или все сайты. Посмотрите,
You see that the numbers have grown from 7 to 23 and 42% respectively, which means that the forecast of marketologists, of political technologists, they think that this trend will continue growing, and blogging will be able to become the major niche through which the news will be coming. Slide number 2 is even more interesting than that. We ask the question, are there any information sources that you trust more than others? TV used to be 63% and it dropped to 43%, whereas forums, blogs and news websites raised up to 21% from 13%, meaning that they gained 10 to 13%. People learn to filter the content, to filter off the unnecessary content, and to filter out the fake news. And people became more cognizant in what they When we were gathering the speakers for the discussion on this topic, we tried to get experts in their respective areas and to get the people who distinguish between blog and blogging and whatnot. So together with the Agency for Investment Promotion, we
Давайте что-нибудь, в принципе, попробуем решить, потому что, ну, спикеры так не смогут. Я-то, ладно, терпеливый. Переключите мне следующий слайд пока. Yes. Пока переключите, я буду говорить, а вы пока решайте. Тогда, ладно? Вот. Коллеги, это уважаемые спикеры. Тоже, в принципе, посмотрите, это макет каталога именно экспертного блогинга.
Model of the expert blogging catalog. It is quite different from all the other catalogs. You will tell about what expert blogging is in more detail. It is quite a new tool to promote your business. It sounds banal and trite, but this tool is not currently used to the extent it can be used. You have a person who is a pro in their respective industry, and they can give some content. In that way, they will be able to provide quality information. So we will give this QR code to you later on. So I think it's a good starting point for a discussion. One more thing that I wanted to tell you on the next slide. Many of you have this chat already. You are very welcome to see our presentations, to see our speeches, and it is the experience of our previous year that we will be able to quickly share the information about what we're doing here. So this was my take on what expert blogging is, what future it has, and how you can use this tool to develop your business. And so now I'm going over to my distinguished panel of speakers, and the first speaker will be Alina Zinatulina, the CEO of Inside People.
Теперь Inside люди.
Теперь Inside люди. Но мы не говорим про Inside People, мы говорим теперь Inside люди. Да, то есть как раз таки.
Okay, although I have to say Inside люди in Russia.
Интересно, которые готовят данных, ну не только экспертных, но и блогеров. Поэтому, пожалуйста, не буду ваш век забирать ваше слово, Алина.
Всем здравствуйте, всем добрый день. Я попрошу коллег, может быть, кликер все-таки сработал? Все, супер. Меня зовут Zinatulina Alina, я являюсь генеральным директором продюсерского центра Inside People. И на сегодняшний день это самый крупный продюсерский центр в нашей стране. И, наверное, очень скромно, но тем не менее скажу, что это самый крупный продюсерский центр в мире. Объясню, почему, сейчас это подробно расскажу, а дальше мы перейдем к экспертному блогингу. Итак, презентация у нас выведена только на английском языке.
My presentation is available only in English, but I think it won't be difficult for you to understand. Why are we the largest full-cycle production center in Russia? Because we decided to develop not only federal bloggers who live in Moscow and who appear on TV quite regularly. We decided to go to the regions and to open our branches and to to bring together the most popular bloggers from respective regions. Today we are present in 78 regions of the Russian Federation. In 78 regions we have our studios and offices or branches, whatever you call them. And today we have exclusive contracts with more than 2,500 bloggers, meaning that these are the people who work exclusively with us, and whatever is connected with the media in their life is done through us, is approved with us, and is done considering our opinion and position. And of course, whenever we started to build this company from scratch, the very first thing, the very first challenge that we faced was that when the number of bloggers was growing, as we understood it for ourselves, we would have to give special focus on the development of their contents and not to miss out on the new landscapes of the market. So let me give you a quick insight into our key competences. So we're working exclusive contracts to 2,500 bloggers. The total outreach is 8.1 billion people in all social networks. And indeed, if we were to speak about our competences, we decided that only a production business for bloggers would not be the correct thing to do if we would limit us by that only. So we decided to open new directions and to find other growth points. So we have our own musical label, we have the educational ecosystem inside education, we have an exclusive program of development which includes more than 15 various disciplines, starting from acting to rhetoric to public speeches, photo and video shooting, editing, etc. Our bloggers appear on federal TV channels such as TNT, TV3, Pyatnitsa and others. We have our own very high-quality production, which not only generates the UGC content, but also makes some full-fledged content. Using only our original bloggers, we created a film dedicated to the celebration of the great victory on the 9th of May. The film, which is in Russian, is called The Forgotten Ones. So, if you wish, it is available on YouTube. Drawing a line connecting us with expert blogging, I would like to say that we have cultivated a generation which understands the news agenda not only from mass media, but rather from bloggers. Some 10 or 15 years ago, blogging was seen by all of us rather skeptically, whereas today we understand that this is the hot thing at the moment, and it is not possible to imagine today's world without this phenomenon. This is part and parcel of our business, and this is something that we come across every day. Therefore, it is necessary to create a culture of doing social networking, a culture of using social networks, and if we were to go back to us and to what we do, of course, we are educating bloggers. Educating bloggers is one of our foresight, and we do that not only to get more high-quality bloggers worldwide. We make that to help brands. We do that to help brands promote their products through bloggers. We do that to work on the influence marketing, and of course, nowadays it will not be possible to imagine a high-quality marketing campaign without the involvement of influencers. This is just not possible. Influencers have a loyal audience. Who has the most loyal audience? It would belong to expert bloggers because they are a niche content. What distinguishes a regular blogger from an expert blogger? It's quite easy, but it comes to a number of bullets, a number of points. If a regular blogger talks to you about lifestyle, talks about their impressions from their day in life and so on, the expert bloggers would rather talk the talk being based on some in-depth knowledge and on practical experience. So this is the content format, and this is the way they work. Point number 2 is that expert bloggers have a very loyal audience, and it is much more loyal than that of any other blogger. Question why is answered by the fact that expert bloggers are dedicated to one specific niche, to automobiles, to children's clothing and kids' food. A blogger who is trying to teach people to do makeup has to be an expert in their field. And so when somebody subscribes to that blogger, they trust them. They want to learn from them. They want to get new skills. And of course, that audience is more loyal. And point number 3, which differentiates common bloggers from expert bloggers, is the type of content production. Because, well, you know that the landscape of the industry has changed. Everybody used to work with professional movie cameras to do their stories and reels. Today, people understand that the picture is not as important as the content of that picture. Every expert blogger has an algorithm of producing their content and an algorithm to selling that content to their audience. That includes warming up your audience, and you've heard about that. So what I tried to do is to give you a very brief and concise insight into what expert blogging is and into what we're doing. I have a question because you are on the edge of this industry, and what I wanted to ask is as follows. According to economists' research, the turnover of bloggers was $15 billion in the year 2023. Oh, 23, they tell me. Oh, $21 billion. Russia shows 15 billion rubles, which is $150 million. So I decided that I would ask you about this. What do you think? Do these numbers have something to do with reality? What share of financial market belongs to bloggers? Well, if we speak about 15 billion rubles, I wouldn't say that this is the figure to trust, because if you were to look at the statistics, currently in Russia we have around 64,000 active users of social media. 64,000 bloggers, I mean influencers. And if you look at the marketing budgets of Ozone, the budget they spend on influencers, you would see that 15 billion rubles is not the right sum. Unfortunately, this market is not very transparent. It used to be completely black, now it is gray. Of course, that was the result of the events that took place a couple of years ago. The bloggers decided to use more actively the services of accountants and lawyers, and the bloggers began to be more careful about doing their back office. Yeah, we don't have to calculate what the bloggers declare. We have to count the data from more credible sources. And we move on to our speaker from Indonesia, Laurentius Raymond Jr. Pardaman from Indonesia.
Но я не из Армении.
Да, я извиняюсь, я просто...
So, yeah, we don't have the stress, actually. So, correspondingly, the floor is yours. Please go ahead. Good morning, dear colleagues. Before I proceed, I would like you to pay attention to the fact that underneath you there's gold. If you look underneath yourselves, out of 50 people in this room, including those doing the interpreting, other technicians and other people here, and the speakers, I can count in this area here. There's most of the people here are sitting here that believe me, and maybe less people over there, and yet less people there, and they ask the question, well, why not me? Why not me? So I would like to start with this point here. So being a blogger, to be a blogger, or to be a YouTuber, because I'm into the promotion of the promoting other people's channels since 2008. So this channel now has grown dramatically, because we have 22 million subscribers, and I started out when it only had 100 subscribers only. So I'd like to share a secret with you as to how to promote it. One can study it. You can study it. You can learn about this, and the most important thing is that you can, which you can learn for yourself, is means to be a blogger. You have to be a modern day person. You have to show yourself, showcase yourself. You have to show what you're into, and what we don't do, what we do and what we don't do, what we have and what we want, and what we want to sell, etc. I started out with the Corbuzier YouTube channel. It's one of the magician YouTube channels in Indonesia, and now it's a superstar in Indonesia. But when we started out, it was just, if you remember, there was this so back then there was a very popular mobile phone, smartphone. It enabled you to send a picture, a photograph of not such a good quality, of mediocre quality, but still, at the time, it was a popular phone at that time. And so the topic was a podcast, and you were to show lives of artists, of officials, government officials in Indonesia. I can go on for hours talking about this, but the most important, the key takeaway is you need to understand what's hot, the secret as to how to promote it. In fact, it's easy. If we talk about a YouTube promotion, so since 2019, I've been asked the question, why didn't you set up your own channel? You have a Russian wife. You have an Indonesian Russian family. It's an interesting thing. You have a business to run. So I started out with vlogging. I thought initially that it was my side job. It was a part-time job. So it was a part-time job for me. Sometime later down the road, I started to use my own YouTube channel. Over the past 6 months, per day, I had 2 to 3 million daily views. So I wanted to share the following secret with you. The secret is, in fact, how you can identify content in an appropriate time and with using the appropriate method. So, in fact, this is a secret as to how to promote your own YouTube channel. I have 4 partners. I have partners because initially I started out as an SEO manager for these 4 channels, including these 22 million viewers, subscribers. If you find yourself if you identify a topic that you love and that you care for, and the topic that is yours, in fact, so that this is a part-time job for you initially, which grows to become your main job, your core job. I started out as an embassy. At an embassy, my channel was called Opora Russia, Indonesia, which means in English, study Russian in Indonesia. So, as far as we know, according to social data, when it comes to our subscribers, we're talking about 2.4 billion users as of 2023 data, which means which is money, of course, which means revenue. You can sell whatever you want to sell. The main thing is that you find the time and the content. So how to produce that content. We started out using a simple smartphone. We have a Moto. It may sound silly and funny. The Moto starts with 0 cost, and you earn billions. We're talking billions of rubles, of course. In fact, when it comes to rupees, it's of course the U.S. dollar measure is a different one, but I was asked to use the rubles as a unit of measure. So some vloggers believe they are tough, and when are hot. There's a special app, and you can look up this channel, and you can understand for yourself whether it's worthy or not worthy channel. If you have 1 million viewers, I can judge it by saying it's not worthy. If it's 1 million, for example, I'm a singer. My second profession is singing, and you can check it out. I'm actually a winner of the international contest, The Road to Yalta, in 2023. I was the winner. So I use it for promoting my own singing, my own profession as a professional singer, as a measure to promote my business, among other things. I have my own company in Indonesia. It's called Citrus Masha. My first daughter is named Masha Maria. So here that's why it's the name. My family business is about selling wood from Indonesia to Germany, and we sell it via YouTube channels. My channel. We have subscribers from Germany. We sell coffee out of Russia, from Russia. During the pandemic, this was the only country, arguably, the only company from Indonesia that was able to sell during COVID-19, was able to sell coffee, 2 to 3 tons per month. We're talking about 42 foot containers. That was our company was the only one that was able to do it. So, thanks to our YouTube channel, because one of our subscribers was, or is, a Russian person, a businessman. So here's what I wanted to say. YouTube has tremendous opportunities, colossal opportunities to sell one's idea or to sell one's products. Let me continue with the next slide, please. Oh, you got a clicker. And if you could just kindly be more focused. Thank you. So first opportunity is business. Like I said, I'm a singer, I'm a baritone. My first education was Paris Conservatory. I was on my way back to Indonesia, so I was about to proceed as a lawyer. My second profession is a lawyer. I mean, you can talk in detail about your second job for sure. So you can also promote yourself as a lawyer. So I'm talking to Russian families living in Bali. They use my service, my lawyer services, not my singer services. But of course, they use YouTube. I use YouTube to promote my profession, my services. So again, we see this person here. First I didn't know him. Then I was told, "Wow, you didn't know this guy was the Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs," and I didn't know that at the time. I formed an Indonesian branch. It was a society or a community that promotes Russian culture around the world, including Indonesia. And I was invited then, I think it was 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago. And I was invited to talk to this person. And later I realized it was the minister. And he said, "You were the minister, right?" And he said, "Yes." And he asked me, "Well, did you question this?" And I said, "I just didn't know it." For Indonesians, so I just learned about that, and it was a pleasant discovery for me. It's not so easy in Indonesia to have a one-on-one discussion with a minister, for example. So to have such connections, I use my YouTube channel. One of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs people who is close to Lavrov, Mr. Lavrov, is one of my subscribers. Also talking about popularity, fame. After I won this international song contest. I was interviewed by mass media outlets, and they asked me about how I came about to be the winner. And like I said, I kept telling them, well, it's YouTube. Not many people know that YouTube offers ample opportunities for you to use, and these are free of charge opportunities, by the way. I'm not talking about expensive video cameras, professional cameras. I'm not talking about, like our speaker said, a production center, for example. Yeah, if you have a camera, if you have the internet, that's all you need. You can start making money. So this channel, about 2 to 3 million views per day, daily views, are the result of me doing what I'm doing without contributing, without investing. If I did invest, specifically what had to do with the president of Russia or the events in Russia, obviously in Indonesia it skyrocketed to 28 million daily views back in Indonesia. So it's it offers unique opportunities for you as well, in order for you to find your own thing, your own topic, your own yeah. I think we're running out of time. You have a minute. I was invited to the Kremlin as a winner to sing. This other guy from Indonesia, the young guy, as you can see, is also from Sumatra. He was also a winner of one of the song contests. So we use it we promote ourselves via our channel. So how can you do it? Well, you can use it in parallel. If you have a business, you have a channel. So how do you start? I believe you should start by the channel. If you have a channel, then you will have viewers. You will have subscribers, viewers. Like Alina said, I believe, the previous speaker, a good viewer is a viewer who is a loyal viewer. They will continue watching you, even if sometimes you lie a little bit or you're not truthful. They will believe you, and they will become loyal. If you have this key, I believe it's kind of a key. Whatever you do then in your business or your channel will create a snowball effect. So I'm open to your questions, obviously, but Raymond, you know, your biography, your blogs do deserve a separate session. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so my offer to you, my colleagues, is that I will post a link on my Telegram channel, and we, as in the past, we uploaded information. If you allow me, Galina, we have the mic. Whatever you didn't have the time to share with us, these details that you got, maybe you're welcome to share these details afterwards, and we will upload this content on our channel. Of course, let's please give a warm round of applause. So unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you very much. On to the next speaker, Nadia Alkostasi. Oh, unfortunately, she's probably stuck in the traffic, but unfortunately, she's not with us at the moment. I believe it's the traffic issue. So let's move on. Do we have the Yemen representative? Mohammed Al-Shibani. Apologies. So, dear colleagues, let's give the floor to Mr. Ali Mahmed Ahmed Al-Shabani, who's Vice President of the Union of Journalists of Yemen. The floor is yours. Can you hear me okay? How do you understand? Do you understand clearly what I'm trying to relate to you? So let me start. First and foremost, I'd like to thank all the participants, all the speakers, all the panelists, all the organizers for this kind of invitation to speak. I'm here to speak, and I'm coming from Yemen. And I am positive that many people are aware of the situation, current situation in Yemen, and many of you, I'm sure, know our country and about our country. And initially, I wanted to speak in Russian, but because many of my colleagues they speak Russian, and unfortunately, what's happening in our country, a lot of what's happening in our country is not available for whatever reason to the Russian viewers, the Russian citizens, and so understanding full well that mass media are controlled in certain hands, of course, we end up with some distortion or distorted view of what's really happening. And so this is why I would like to tell you that there's this new quote-unquote Nazi force, Nazi power, that holds the grip of mass media in our country, and they present their own view, their own ideas in terms of education, in the areas of education, IR, international relations, and therefore this whole thing is all about shaping this extremist or Nazi view among the people. Unfortunately, these views are reflected in the public opinion. And we, the participants, the panelists here, can tell you that the big problem we're facing now in Yemen is that, unfortunately, in our country, mass media are now controlled by rather unprofessional people. And out of the 500 journalists in our union, oftentimes we face the problem that our leaders are oftentimes unprofessional, not professional. And so our aim is to form the next generation of professionals who would work around the world and who would build connections with their peers around the world. And so this cooperation and the advanced training courses for our Yemeni journalists, together with the Russian journalist training courses, will benefit the professionalism of our own reporters, of our own journalists. Obviously, it will benefit both the Russian and Yemeni societies. And we have this modern day practice in Yemen, thanks to which whatever has to do with modern mass media, with modern mass media tools. Also, one of the managers of our Yemeni channels that says we cooperate actively with Russia today, and thanks to this cooperation, we have the new press, the new electronic mass media, by which we now begin to open up and foster connections. And thanks to such connections, unfortunately, as you probably know, we have disruptions in electricity disruptions in Yemen, which affects dissemination of information. So the new power that conquered power that controls the mass media in our country, when we form and shape ideas and thoughts that should be disseminated to people, for example, bloggers or reporters, journalists, we have few of those. We have a deficiency. So therefore, we need, when it comes to Russian mass media, we need to disseminate the true information, a true picture of what's actually happening in Yemen and in the region. And via this channel, we will be able to move up the level to shaping culture and understanding between all the peoples around the world. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, Mohammed. So your key thought is as follows: that the Russian viewer is, let's say, well-trained and well-educated, and they can tell truth from, let's say, false information, true information from false information. So whenever information is, let's say, biased via mass media, then bloggers are there to help. Bring forth that information to the viewer. Is that what you're trying to say? Yes, exactly. In our professional union, we have many new bloggers who are well versed in disseminating information, true information about what's happening, the events, and so they're the ones that are able to differentiate between fake news and real news, and of course their popularity grows. This is because they disseminate true information. Well, thank you very much. That's true.
Dear colleagues, and it gives me pleasure to move to our next speaker. And he will be representing something unique. This is a consequence of our post-COVID epoch, of our post-COVID era. I removed all my passwords from phones and from my tablets because I no longer needed them at home. Some people decided to drink their herbal drinks because this is something you have to do 3 times a day. And from this COVID reality, we have the 10 chat. Sam created a new social network. How many social networks have we seen? Only lazy people are not creating a social network. But somehow it happened that Sam found his niche and was able to concentrate his business expertise theme. I've been in business for 20 years. I've seen everything from elections to public work. I work with entrepreneurs for 30 years. I work with Общественник.ru. I saw some projects which had lots of money poured into them, and that completely failed. So we have Sam Tenyaev, the founder of business social network 10chat, and we will ask them to. I will ask him to comment on how they were able to accumulate people who usually have no time for blogging. Hello, and I will try to split my presentation into two parts, and then I will share my vision of the future, because many things are I'm able to forecast, because I'm a graduate of the Faculty of Mathematical Statistics. Social networks are a phenomenon. They are an informational phenomenon, and I'm going to give you an example. Let's just imagine Alina has told us about their producer center that makes a business because they earn on bloggers who earn. So you have an audience. Above that audience, you have bloggers. Then you have a producer center. And who is above the producer center? Some venues, some social networks, because they also consider this as a business. They stand above the production center. Who stands above the social networks? Above the social networks, we have the state. And when we look into various theories, the state has the monopoly on money, a monopoly on violence, on government, on making laws, etc. And this effect of globalization has resulted in the fact that new money was printed uncontrollably. Moreover, another thing moved away from the state, and we as social networks can see that. That's the right for information. Ahmed Ali Mohammed said, what is true and what is not true? Who determines that? This always has been the monopoly of information, the state, the access to information. You all know what fake news are. So a little forecast, and something that we've been playing with, something that we've been experimenting with. Me, as an owner of a venue, fake people, neural networks that voice artificial people, they appear in tens of thousands of units. And for our promotion, we created avatars, and but the neural network community has about 2.5 thousand bloggers, and we had around 15,000 new bloggers. All of them are non-existent people. They are avatars written by robots. Do you know how many subscribers they have? They surpass the growth of traditional people. And real people are reading what fake people are printing. Azad Gazizov also said about that. It is very important to determine what place we occupy when we match a person with reality. It is a person who sits not against a green screen making their contact. Today's technologies will prevent you from distinguishing a person from a robot. I know you're interested in that. I know that you saw some story about drinks and you swiped it to the left. And then you had a story about Yemen, about Syria. You got interested and you swiped it to the right. So the system now knows you are interested in political news, and then the system will send you the news which have been created to match your interest. The news that would reflect on your position. This is not difficult to do, by the way, but it is a great question because therein lies the future. If we speak about business venues, I think that the state has to bring about some order in these areas, because otherwise it will be quite dangerous. If you don't create your own social networks, if you don't cover the market of information, all this globalization will result in very easy things. You will see the effect of deglobalization. What our told us about YouTube, I don't advise you to work with YouTube. I believe that YouTube must be blocked in the Russian Federation. We create a content and only that company knows how this content is consumed. This information does not stay in Russia. The business works in Russia and pays no taxes. And that's a huge amount of money. That's tens of billions of dozens of billions of dollars. Dear colleagues, what is bank number one in Russia? And you will all say that this is, you will all tell me that it is Sber. I believe that this is a tiny phenomenon that Sber created. And what Tinkoff did with Tinkoff Journal in the form of various podcasts and informational resources. In terms of informational traffic, Tinkoff Journal has surpassed Sber almost twofold. As that, you remember your own video about TV being the new media. TV is no longer the new is no longer the number one mass media. So what I'm trying to say is that the new media and new approaches, they change the way we perceive information. This is the new gold. We really sit on that new gold. But the profile related to persons, the expertise, the involvement of people with specific companies, the necessity to keep a person, that's what's important. And an AI avatar is something that will be able to copy someone. Fake news was wave number one. Fake people will be wave number two. There will be a great number of people who are not existent in real life, and we will still need to think what to do about them. That will be the greatest challenge before the humankind. Thank you. If you are not in 10 chat yet, please join the network. Do you have verified accounts? We decided to follow a different path. We determined the importance of a person, and we will verify that this is a real, actual person and not a robot. Okay, dear colleagues, we are moving on. Trends in information consumption. Daria Bogdanova, Deputy CEO of Autonomous Non-Profit Organization Dialogue. Colleagues, Kazan has become my second home. I'm coming here so often. Kazan has become our family traditional. We read Tatar fairy tales. And, in our kindergartens, Shurale and Nitschkebil are one of the most favorite literary heroes. Okay, so Dialogue, our non-profit organization, many people have heard about us. We help people build quality communications between the government, the society online. and all the queries which come from citizens through social media. We see specific trends in them, and we see the society and the state that they are becoming very active in using the opinion leaders and bloggers to convey their agenda. Well, we found this is a very interesting topic, and we used Romir and checked what was the opinion on people. What was the opinion of people? The cohort was 1.3 thousand people of various ages, and we looked at different venues in social media. They are represented here on the screen. The interesting trend is that people above 55 still use Odnoklassniki, OK the most, and it is seen in the regions. Younger people use YouTube and Telegram. VK varies. VK is very active in northwestern region, and we have lots of young people there, and we have lots of different content published there, because the social network is incentivizing the content creators. The most popular bloggers. If we speak about the level of trust, we would be speaking about the macro bloggers. Those would be the bloggers with approximately 1 million followers. And the majority of our interviewees gave exactly that answer. Then we see another trend. People stop trusting followers with over 1 million subscribers. People use social networks as sources of various opinions. And we have bloggers who are commenting actively on their personal experiences with macro bloggers. Outside capitals, we see that people would believe teachers, doctors who are working in your next door clinic, and we see that the virality of content is much better with those kind of bloggers. If we speak about topics, look at the very interesting distribution at the topics of the content in people aged 18 to 34, how different their interests are. The politics is rated #1. That's a topic interesting for everyone. On the international territories, on the international information medium, and in our country, 77% people aged 35 to 54% are also interested in politics. Information and analytics is ranked #2. And popular demand to the blogger is not about the truth, but about their opinion, what the blogger thinks. Because as you scroll through your news feed, when you look through different materials, you start forming your own opinion, and then they discuss it with their friends, speaking, "Hey, I read that, and I support that blogger." One of the major motivators in social media is humor and entertainment. People log onto their social media to get distracted, to look for some funny content, and that is also of great importance. The aim of subscribing to bloggers, #1 is vital news. #2 is to get some practical aid from the blogs, what people can learn from the bloggers, and then to learn the name of the opinion of bloggers about a certain thing. The content format is one more interesting question. Any experts on this panel would agree that the video is #1 way of conveying the information. Short videos are rated number 1. Short videos are gaining popularity. What we see in YouTube channels is that bloggers popularize their channel by inviting famous people to their channels. You get several top-rated speakers, and then the user would want to subscribe to that channels. All other content formats, I believe, will make this presentation available if you wish. If we stand on the side of the bloggers, what's the reason of creating a personal blog? Number one is non-professional blogs, non-professional Telegram channels. We are taking your average statistical bloggers and ask them what's the reason of creating your own blog. And people would say that it is done for fun or as a hobby. People get a kick out of it, and they are happy about receiving the user's reaction to that content. Point number 2 is work and profession. Promotion of their ideas and products ranks number 3. Then we ask the people whether they consider bloggers and blogging as a profession. In our country, probably no. 34% said that bloggers is a profession, and people earn money out of that. And I believe that this was done by later day stories about bloggers with over 1 million followers, and people decided to look into how much money they had earned. But 59% said that blogging is not a profession. The most important question with which I want to close my presentation is whether or not bloggers influence public opinion, popular opinion. 80% said that it was a yes. Yes, they do form public opinion. But I think it is especially important, especially within our discussion today, to be speaking about how large a social responsibility a blogger undertakes when they publish their content in social networks. And here we have to think 3 steps ahead how it will influence various people, specifically young people. We are fighting for the hearts and minds of young people, for forming and shaping their social habits and interests. We'll have to think about that. Well, that was a great research. Thank you. And yes, we still have to think this over. My second degree in education was economist, and I love working with numbers. I love finding some actual confirmation to what to think. So from your research, I see that this is not some self-illusion that we're working with. We are indeed working with a trend that will have to move on. I'm giving the floor to our next speaker. This is a unique person, an entrepreneur with approximately 30 years of experience. This is someone who decided to work with exhibition activities. He started the exhibition Biot that gathers 30 to 35,000 people in Moscow at the Expo Center. And he is someone who is very active in social networks. And he is very much present in the informational media. So the opinion and the vision and the possibilities of expert blogging. It is my pleasure to give the floor to Vladimir Kotov, CEO of...
So the floor is yours, Vladimir. Let me take this opportunity to stretch my legs a little bit. And all right, I can give it this microphone, this mic. with your permission, let me walk back and forth a little bit. You know, we spend a lot of time sitting with endless meetings and, flying around, of course, is mostly about sitting. We know that there's more than 140 million people that live in Russia. Most of them are, work-able people. So did you know that we have 12 million disabled persons in Russia? Out of these 12 million, only a bit less than 1 million are the disabled people from birth. All the others represent the cohort of people with which something went wrong. So my name is Kotov, and my task is to make sure that most of us enjoy our life as long as possible, all the way through to their last days, so that our life, productive life, is as long as possible, so that we're healthy, strong, and happy. So the association that I'm in charge, the mission of our organization is to make sure that we implement and promote and promulgate the safety culture. The safety culture is, in fact, a set of rules, patterns, and we all clearly understand that any change implies a long-term process, which requires, well, at least, it requires motivation, but it requires reprimand as well. So we're in the market situation. I will not go into the details of my biography. Otherwise, this information is available online, and you can check it up. But when shaping the market for PPE, personal protective equipment, we have managed to create that the whip factor, meaning a set of regulatory tools, measures, etc. As you all know, the problem here in our country, as many people know, is the implementation, the execution of the stringent laws that we have. The next step, the implementation of the safety culture, means and implies the incentive, the so-called carrot, quote unquote. So I shouldn't say that. So the task is for us to make this fashionable, to make it trendy, so that each and every one of us in our daily lives understand, each and every one of us understand the risks in our daily life, but also to react adequately and appropriately to these risks. We remember clearly the situation with the COVID-19. For us, the professionals, it was surprising. The whole world that got spooked by this with this new threat. We have known for a long time about viruses, about how to fight viruses. There was nothing new, but still we had this panic that got spread around, and we are in the process of analyzing what happened. But the main thing that we saw was that even most professional, educated people, when they got affected by this panic, they had been taking inadequate actions, and as a consequence, we have adverse conditions of our lives, our health, and wellness, as well as, of course, the economy. So, like I mentioned, for us to implement and develop these processes, we began discussions among our professional community. The topic we're into, i.e., creating safe conditions, secure occupational conditions. I will not talk about occupational protection or health, because we all relate to this. When you say occupational protection, quote unquote, it doesn't sound trendy. There's very few people who are professionally into it. Mostly, these are not the most, quote unquote, interesting people to talk to. So our challenge was to popularize this topic, this theme. We went into all these social networks in order to create the relevant content to put forth this content, to be, so for example, to make it popular, to make it interesting, and I should say that we succeeded, because as compared with the previous years, we have now a great number of young, energetic people that shape talk about the changes that are taking place in the country, about how to implement execute these changes and how to move forward. So going back to blogging, what was the takeaway for me? So if you don't do it today, right now, then you don't have the inherent need for this. You're average person who does not need all the spotlight, all the fame and attention. But if you want to solve a certain problem, and you realize that it can be solved using this tool, then of course the key questions that you would face would be why. The question would be why. The first and foremost, you have to answer that question for yourself. And the next one is, what is the outcome? What is the target audience? What would you want the target audience to do? We've heard a bunch of numbers, millions of subscribers, etc. But we realize clearly, if we talk about our country only, it's enough that we capture attention of one person, not millions of subscribers. If we have just one person who is your subscriber and who reads and follows your content, the content you create, and who takes that into account, then it's quite enough for you to achieve a particular purpose, target of yours. So when we talk about the audience or an audience, of course you have to measure, it's obvious, but understanding your target audience, your core audience, and understanding why and what you want the people to do, your target audience to do. So based on that, we have tried different methods, different tools, and approaches. So the main test for us was how to do it in such a way that this, let's say, rather traditional, conventional topic, i.e. occupational health and safety, would be viewed from a different angle. So I guess a good analogy would be the sci-fi blogs, or the, let's say, popular science blogs. Of course, we'll remember our school years, and we don't have good memories of those subjects oftentimes. So it's probably because of the teachers that told us some stories. Of course, if you have to convey a story, you should do so in an untrivial way, a captivating way, in order for people to make it interesting. So capturing attention and grabbing that attention and retaining that attention is the most important thing. So we have to grab focus, we have to shape our goals, and we have to then follow up and achieve our targets. So time-wise, I understand I'm stressed at time, but before I conclude, I should say that for me this topic was brand new, because just like every other person, average person, a male, before I got into this this topic, this profession, and whenever I realized that I needed my pictures, my photographs, my childhood photographs, for example, I looked up my photographs of my younger age. Of course, I realized I didn't have many, so I had to dig deeper, and I had to make myself more popular. Let's say it's a professional job, and if you do it professionally, you have to do it. You have to make sure that the job is something you like, B is something you have to love, because it's actually visible, it's seen by others, and you have to convey this let's say useful content, because if you're not useful to your community, everything else is all about these other the majority of others who fill up the internet, let's say, space. And so it's all about the target audience, and to understand what it wants is the main thing. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions during the Q&A or afterwards, offline. Thank you very much. I stretched my legs too. So Vladimir touched upon a topic. I was waiting for other speakers to ask the question, what is the difference? Alina talked about preparation. Our other colleagues were talking about the meaning, numbers. Absolutely true. So as Vladimir says, an expert blogger is not about the numbers. It's about the quality of their target audience. So when I was in the process of helping form regional channels, Telegram channels, they had 150 to 200 subscribers, and I told them, guys, this is nothing. And they told me, why? We have 3 deputy governors, 4 ministers, regional ministers, and that's it. So the information was targeted, and it was channeled to the right people, and I kind of agreed. So I guess we're moving on a little bit here, and I'd like to give the floor to the next speaker, who is, I believe, I didn't see the dialogue. I think they made a deal with Simeon, and so this topic was announced in advance. I'd like to give the floor to Ksenia Ulyanova, an entrepreneur with 12 years experience. She's the founder of the Speaker School, and she'd like to talk about the trends in the use of avatars in expert blogging. Exactly what this previous speaker was talking about. So the floor is yours, Ksenia. Please go ahead. I hope you can hear me okay. Dear colleagues, I will need your help to move between the slides. So this topic, there was no prior arrangement, but I'm happy that we touched upon the topic of professional blogging, deepfakes, avatars. This topic is there, and it's quite trendy, and let's talk about this at a bit greater detail, and we'll make some conclusions at the end, I hope. I hope my video gets launched. I hope you can launch my video. If you can do that from your laptop, or I should play. Let me welcome you. I greet you at the International Forum Russia Islamic World in Kazan. My name is Ksenia Ulyanova. Today, we will go deeper into digital avatars. What do you think? Do you think I'm a real person or a digital avatar? So, let's try to guess. Is Ksenia Ulyanova a real person? Those of you, please raise your hands if you think it's a real person. Those of you who believe it's a digital avatar, please raise your hands. All right. I will give you the answer at the end to keep you intrigued. But the digital avatar issue is quite a pressing one, and it's not a new story. It's nothing new. It's been observed for a while that, of course, digital avatars do pop up, and we use them in different areas, in different directions. And I'd like to discuss here where this would leave us, so that everyone watching us here or watching us live can realize how they can use it in their own life. What is the danger about using digital avatars? And maybe let's just generally talk about this, because being informed is important wherever you deal with technologies. Of course, you can admit it, you can accept it, or you can reject it, but the problem is there. I mean, the issue is there, and we have to understand what to do with it. Yet, let's talk about something else now. Let's consider something else. It was actually viewed in some official news outlets. Oh. Vladimir Vladimirovich, hello. I'm a student, and I study at a St. Petersburg State University. I'd like to ask you, is it true that you have many doubles? What is your view of the dangers of the artificial intelligence and neural links? The gentleman from St. Petersburg did not let us know his name, so yes. You know, I realize you can look like me, and you can speak like me using my voice, but I thought and decided that to be similar, to look like myself and to speak my voice, that should only be one person, and that person should be me, and me alone. So the deepfake issue, digital avatar issue, is something that will be regulated, and we should. Hence, it begs the logical question: what can it lead us to, and what is, in fact, a deepfake? Here, I would like to go a bit deeper into this issue, because every day, every passing day, the number of these services grows. And these digital avatars in the past were created with digital technology, with artificial intelligence. You could create a huge number of photographs of images of a real person that would mimic the mimic, the voice, and it's difficult to differentiate and to tell whether it's a real person or a fake person. Now you have services that enable you to record a 2 to 3 minute video where using a camera you give the text and the program gives you back an identical picture with your voice. Whatever text you feed it, your avatar starts to live. Our fantasy does not also starts to paint, to draw pictures as images as to where we can use. And here we should understand that the use of oftentimes, and unfortunately, and we touched upon it earlier today, it doesn't go as planned oftentimes, because oftentimes it's used in cyberbullying and political manipulations, and we realize that at some point in time it may be extremely difficult to tell whether it's a fake or a real image or video. So by consuming information, we consume it from different sources, and if it's not regulated, then it's going to be extremely difficult to tell. Everything is a big question now. Only personal, offline, let's say, story background can give us let's say, a hint whether it's a real Ksenia Ulyanova or not. Because if you haven't seen me personally, it would have been difficult. Of course, you have the scammers that use the avatars more and more often. One of the cases was, just imagine a Zoom conference. We have a request for a transfer remittance of a large amount, and of course an employee has doubts as to whether it's a legal story, a legit story. And of course they offer a Zoom conference. During that Zoom conference, you have a great number of people that get together, and these people confirm and answer the questions. This is the meeting with the general manager of the company. Things are confirmed, so that person understands that the identity has been verified. Everything's according to the arrangements. You have different directors that nod to that person, and they see it online. Some time down the road, a large amount is transmitted. Some days, several days down the road, it became clear that there was just one person, one real person. All the other persons were deepfake images that had been thoroughly created, and this was a meticulous scam. So we also have an upside of this, upside stories, or let's say positive stories. But in one context, we talk about it, but in the other context, as we say, education and blogging, especially when we talk about expert blogging, just like that, I also have my social networks. I keep them, and I promote that popularity. I realize that blogging is a story about quality content. It's about the new level of education. It's about, and so the digital avatar issue can help us make this education more interesting, more appealing, more engaging, especially if we talk about the younger generation, the so-called clip thinking, for people to get information as soon as possible, as quick as possible. So we can use a digital avatar for good. For example, you come to a lecture, a chemistry class, and your lecturer online, let's say it's a famous chemist who conveys that information. I'm sure it would be a captivating and engaging story for students. So there was a real case that whereby they used Salvador Dali, and there was a digital avatar created at an exhibition, and that avatar interacted with the real audience. You could ask questions, take a selfie. There was a plausible way of using the avatar technology. Summing up, I would like to say we're probably entering an era of fake people. So a blogger that is fully created with the use of AI was this person, Aitana Lopez, who is a standalone person with her own story, and there's a whole bunch of people behind it, and they created a whole bio, and everyone knows that Aitana is not a real person. But if you have a team behind that avatar, and if we meticulously build all the interactions as if it were a real person, people actually do sign up. You can imagine how easier it is for a real person to generate content. Aitana is in fact engaged in fitness, sports, it's easy, right? You don't have to take it to the gym because you're created off the bat with a healthy body that is ideal for advertising. And of course, it is easily used by those who create, let's say, who manufacture sports goods, let's say apparel. And Aitana makes thousands of dollars a day for Aitana's creators. This thing has been voiced. Oftentimes, it's not important as far as the content, whether the content is real or fake. This dopamine story, in terms of creating emotions and information, it takes us to the next era, whereby a blogger that creates quality content, whereby the blogger is able to support it, that blogger would be able to compete with deepfake bloggers who believe the content is necessary for the developers of the content. Thank you very much for your attention. Once again, my name is Ksenia Ulyanova, and so the QR code contains my social media data. And I would like to conclude by saying that I did not conclude as to whether it's good or bad in terms of the deepfakes. And I'd like all of you, or each and every one of you, to ask the question. First question is, how can I implement it in my project in such a way that it would enhance and make my project and content safe? And number two is, what is my attitude? Being informed is what underpins you, is what helps you protect from situations whereby this cyberspace is not quite clear and not quite understood. So we talk about this issue at events like this one today. So we have to, keep ourselves abreast. Thank you very much. So the applause goes to you, and I'm sure as we go on, we will in the future we will face issues of understanding whether it's real or fake. I failed to hear your personal opinion. Unfortunately, let's move on. And I think, we started up a bit later than planned, so we have some time left in terms of our timetable. I'd like to give the floor to Batava Natalia Valerievna, who is chairman of Astrakhan Regional Branch of Opora Russia. She's also an experienced entrepreneur, and she's engaged in tax audit as well as shipping, river fishing, shipping. So actually, sea shipping, freight shipping. Dear friends, I'd like to welcome you all, and I'm overwhelmed with this breadth of information. I'm just an expert, simple expert. What I saw and heard today about faking people, real people, I should say first, my own life hack is, we made a deal with my husband. If we have Zoom meetings like these, and if I get calls asking me to confirm transactions, my husband and I, we ask each other for a code word, a pass code, a password, or passphrase. So my topic for today is promotion. Is the expert blogging as a method of promoting a company? So Azad prompted me and asked me to talk about how I made it to this point. Having heard the experts before me, I meant the blogging experts, it's important to look around and understand what's happening. We, the experts, are lagging behind because we do have fake bloggers. We have fake experts already. So the question is quite a pressing. It's a pressing issue. We do have ups and downs. We have pros and cons. But for me, as an expert, I believe I'm behind. I'm lagging behind as well as many other experts. When we talk about sales, yes, indeed. When I packed myself as an expert, my company sales volume grew twofold by 100%. if we talk about my first steps, I should just mention that sales, I guess, the purpose of any promotion is to grow sales or sales volume. So here's something I'd like to point out: the fact that we're all humans, we're all people, and we humans we buy from each other. I'd like to stretch my legs too.
Володя, спасибо вам за это.
Thank you very much for giving me the experience. So people buy better from people. So people buy better from people, not from companies, and this is a fact. So I've been with financial audit and consulting for more than 20 years, and I can tell you for sure that this is a sphere in which being an expert costs a lot and values a lot. And I've never thought about how to increase my sales. I'm an expert, and then I do my job very nice. And this is what distinguishes a good expert from a fake expert. This is our mission. An expert always has a mission. They bring the good. Pseudo-experts don't. They only earn money. I'm not going to give my opinion about that, but that's a fact. One day I had a customer coming to me, or customers coming to me, who were served by such pseudo-experts. In taxation, it is quite serious. If you haven't solved the problem, then the problem will be very difficult to unravel later on. And when I was asking my customers why they came to me, afterwards they said they didn't know me before that. And that was exactly the reason. But, you know, my money is enough for me. I earn enough. But my task is that we experts be brought to the forefront. People should use the services of experts. Everybody should be able to use expert services. Whereas in reality, being in the shadow, we do a very bad job at being experts. By not telling about ourselves, we do a bad job. And when I started presenting myself as an expert, I had a lot of problems. First thing is that an expert is difficult to hear. They may be ultra proficient in their fields. So one thing they have to do is to learn, is to study to be a good speaker. You know what to say, but how to say that? It is exactly where you have to, it is exactly what you have to learn. If you want to be an expert, learn your speakership. The way you connect to your audience and the way your audience will remember what you spoke, that is an important thing. Next thing is expertise does not self-expertise. One thing you have to do is to promote and to push your personal brand. And we as experts should study from experts. Study from experts in a personal brand. Learning from experts in creating your private brand, from positioning yourself when your audience would want to listen to you and listen to you on and on, when you become an authority for your audience. Experts in private branding will help you to disclose all of your best sides, which will help you to show yourself. Next point is that expert does not know how to show all of their talents. So, for example, I'm a taxation expert. I am an expert, but you know, taxation is such a narrow field of knowledge. So for me, an interesting thing would be to implement this topic in an interesting way for the right people. And when I was a student of Azat Khalilovich, He drew a map for me, a map of my possibilities and capabilities, or some things which I thought were never about me. So, Azat Halilovic made this map for me, and I felt that I was able to fly without even being conscious that I had wings. He told me that a speaker had to be public and recognizable. He believed in me, and I believed in me, and I was very active in criticizing myself. But I believe that under his mentorship, I managed to achieve a lot more than people would be able to achieve in a decade. But the most important thing, the main enemy of the expert is yourself. People tell you that, a person tells themselves that you shouldn't do this thing, you are not an expert, etc., etc. But the strategy of small steps is the most efficient topic. Let's say you're afraid, let's say you have a stage fright, but go on the stage, make a small step between a bigger audience, and you will start feeling that this is not all so scary. Your brain will have formed the right. Your brain will form the right incentive and the right order. Okay, I'm scared about things, but that's okay. Next important thing is to form your meta skills. In that way, you will be able to form your personal brand. Authenticity, creativity, and openness. These will be the things which will help you to be very true. Authenticity is important because people can understand that you're lying. Creativity is to be able to present your material in an open and transparent way. Openness is important because we are all people. And when we are not open, people will not want to listen to us. Speak simply about complicated things. Because, as I said, people buy from people. And the important thing is to be understood. Speak simple language. Don't create an impression that you are smarter than somebody. When we speak as equals, your information is appreciated in an easier way. So I call all of you experts to represent yourself as experts. Because if you don't go to the internet space, if you don't show yourself to the world, then fake people or pseudo-experts will rule the world. Thank you very much. So I'm through with our official speakers, but we have someone else. We have an expert blogger, and we would like to hear his opinion. Alexei Balin, the founder of Sonar Fish.
Здравствуйте. Меня зовут
Okay, good morning. My name is Alexei Balin. I am a blogger and entrepreneur, and I didn't know that I'm going to have my boss here because I am the resident of Inside Ludi, Inside People, Lipetsk. I was invited to make a small presentation here to give you a lesson that I learned as a businessman, but this is a lesson to bloggers. Yeah, we had a good tradition of walking with a microphone, so I'll just catch it on. 12 years ago, we started a business, me and my friend. So the start of our business was buy something, sell something. Why was it like that? Because it was the easiest way to earn money for me. I came across this opportunity. I was able to buy fish cheap and sell fish expensive. And I remember 1 week when I earned 3,000 rubles, and I was so happy that I was earning this money for myself. Within the very first period of time, we grew up and were earning quite decently. So I came across my neighborhood, and I asked whether the commercial space was available for rent. So we rented this space. We brought the equipment, we brought the goods, and we started selling the fish, and we did a good job. We opened third, fourth, and 10th store, but we didn't analyze anything. So people would call me and ask, do you need an extra commercial space? And I would say yes. I thought that things would be going so fine and dandy. Opening a shop would be the end for me. But this was not the right thing to do. Even in one neighborhood in Moscow, in Sokolina Gora, I lost as much money as a good flat in Moscow costs. So I understood that a company of whatever size would be developing and soon reaching its cap. I would either have to look for some investors, and that was not a thing I wanted to do, or to loan some money. But borrowing money is not also a thing I wanted to do. And then, point number 4, I decided to work. I decided to work with media. People go to Peterochka just because they know about it. So I thought, what about if people knew about my store just for the heck of it? What if the people would know about sonar fish and come to me for that simple reason? My mistake was that I was pushing both the sonar fish and my personal brand. In 6 months, I lost it all. So I decided I would have to keep things simpler. As a clever man said, the best investment is the investment in yourself. So I let sonar fish aside, and I decided to push my development in Instagram, in VK, in all social networks for about 3 years. My goal was to position myself, speaking about myself as the person with the most fish. So my thinking was, maybe a person would want a lobster, or maybe they want to buy just some cod. And my brand was the fish, the person with the most fish. So we decided to register the brand name. And so we came with this brand name, Sonar. It is a contraction of a couple of Russian words, and it also plays with the word sonar, with which you are able to catch that fish. And when I was developing my brand in the media, I created my own merchandise. We even made a song. Yes, that's advertising. I was not paying millions of rubles to bloggers. When you are known in the media, you're just coming to an event, So this is Naše Dielo. Okay, you have the organizer of this event, and you can see that this person is holding a jar of red caviar. So that was cool. We had a popular rapper who came to perform, and he just made a free video for us. First channel, I also approached the first channel, not to look for a bride. I decided to push my brand through this channel as well. And that was a direct product placement in one of the shows on the first channel. So we used this channel as well. When you are doing business, you have to work with charity. Charity is a must for all people. For about 4 years, I've been heavily engaged in charity activities. I'm working with the school in which I studied, and I'm working with children with autistic spectrum disorders. A friend of mine has a foundation helping such children, and we contribute a lot to that. So that's my principle, helping people. Alexei, make a video. We'll publish it in our super chat, because this is a story. The way you told it was quite professional. You see how many times Alexei made it interesting for us. He held us on tenterhooks. He would switch off the screen and so on. Dear colleagues, we have 2 presentations, 1 minute each, because we have to wind up this session. I would like to give the feedback. I would like to take the feedback from Ainur, the speaker who found lots of bloggers for us. Just 1 minute. Give me your feedback on what you saw about the expert blogging here. Okay, I'll take this opportunity and ask Alina Iratovna. People ask me, am I a relative of yours when people go to native people, to inside people? I've been called as an expert blogger to TNT. I've been called to to participate in some shows. I have a daughter, and I'm her producer. Is Inside People planning to work with blogger kids, because this is a huge potential, and they say it? Well, this is a thing that we've been discussing with my team maybe about 2 weeks ago. The answer is yes, we are planning to work with children, but we have a very important and a very interesting thing. Who is going to work as producers for children? Because children are a very specific, very difficult audience. On federal channels, federal channels do not need children in such quantities, in such numbers. Singing, participating in serials and TV shows, well, there might be some potential points for our bloggers. Maybe they will be able to cope with that. This year we are launching a new direction of our work. It will be called Inside Kids. and the producers of these children will be our celebrities and our bloggers, whom you can see on federal TV channels. Can I be on the work group on that? Because this is very important for me. There are blogger kids and there are blogger parents who would be interested in that. Thank you. You can learn from a pro. You can learn from a super pro. He is not promoting himself, but he gained an answer he needed from the stand. And we have one more message. Eldar Shafigullin about Islamic blogging. 1 minute, and that will be the end of it. I am the owner of Ildar's Journal on YouTube, and we're speaking about Islamic blogging, and I'm speaking about Islam. We were speaking about faith, people by faith. This is very deep thought, and all the wars have been for faith. If a person believes you, you bought that person. Within the Islamic Forum, I would like to hear what we connecting, what we are doing in fighting for the hearts and minds of the people. With bloggers, it's much easier because they have their audience, they are believed, their opinion is listened to. People want to follow them. You can open a new company tomorrow, you can open it under a different name, but a blogger needs to be valued by people. This is a very valuable quality for them. The people's opinion about them is important for bloggers. People don't want to be fed some agenda. People want to understand what you think. People want to associate with you. People want to receive an opinion. And being, as a speaker, people come to your channel just to understand whether they like it or not. Sometimes young people don't understand what they want, and their opinion is formed due to the fact if they like it or not. On the basis of that, they shape their opinion. They get identified, they are finding the appreciation, they are finding the possibility to implement themselves. So my calling is for everyone not to be silent, to speak their mind, speak their opinion. My blog and my podcasts is without Islamic businessmen, and we are speaking about what Islam is. And one final note. What is Islam from the inside? If you're a businessman and you have a company making halal sausage, don't show your brand. Show what's inside your product. It's an interesting approach, not to show the certificate, but the production itself. Dear colleagues, if you have some interest with our blogger, he will be here with us. This is the end of our session. Colleagues, we will continue our discussion in the chat as we have done it traditionally. All the presentations which were shown by the speakers, which the speakers consent to share, will be published in our chat. And I think that we are starting a very large discussion and a very large journey. As numbers show, the dynamics over 10 years, the share of the people who trusted internet resources and using them, this number of people is growing. And the value of mass media and value of TV is dropping. So we presented expert blogging in Russia from the standpoint of what we want to do. We'll continue promoting this project. And I believe that our panel is ready to cooperate. So please join us join the good cause. Thank you very much, and thank you.